Seriously? If you're betting horses and not watching these shows, you gotta be freaking crazy. Capiche?
You're watching Past the Wire TV.
Knowledge. It isn't free. You gotta pay attention.
And they're off in the Kentucky Derby.
You're watching Past the Wire TV, the biggest races at the best tracks. From the Kentucky Derby to the Breeders' Cup. The best horse racing coverage is right here on Past the Wire TV.
Dynasty in motion, reshaping the sport's greatest tradition, channeling the legends of his line and surpassing them. 4 of the last 6 Derby winners carry his genes. A Golden Son, a Horse of the Year. Another chapter written beneath those iconic spires. Derby dreams fulfilled for the titans of our industry. From authentic to sovereignty, a legacy both real and supreme. Into mischief.
Everybody, Dan Oman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Ciao tutti. You got to be crazy you're not watching these Thorograph videos. I mean, I don't know what more we could have done or what better way we could have started than the way we have. We nailed some great Thorograph angles. We caught some winners. We eliminated some favorites. We called 3 races spot on, strictly off the Thorograph Numbers and Patterns. And this week, I picked the Jim Dandy. And, you know, I probably could have picked a more interesting and or exciting and even more complicated race, but I was a little selfish. I wanted to see how much of a standout and how tough and how much faster Sovereignty was going to be than the rest of the field. And if there was anybody that, you know, the Thorograph was going to say is fast enough to beat him, or if there was any sign of a regression or anything like that. And I thought that was interesting enough to do this show on that. But to recap a little bit, you can get the sheets, Thorograph sheets, at thorograph.com. Follow the link on pastthewire.com. Thorograph, click the link, enter your email. You'll get a file with the sheets for the Jim Dandy and every Past the Wire Thorograph race of the week. We started with the Belmont Oaks. What did the numbers and patterns tell us? told us that the heavy favorite was vulnerable. And guess what? She got beat. Next week, we did the Diana, told us Excellent Truth was going to beat. She Feels Pretty. A lot of people didn't think so. They also told us that She Feels Pretty was the only one that could make Excellent Truth run. They finished just like that. Again, we beat 2 to 5, 3 to 5 shots, whatever it was. Haskell, no real surprise in Haskell, told us Journalism was the fastest horse, but also told us not by much, and that Gazzale and Goal Oriented were the two that could make him run and were fast enough to go forward enough to really make it interesting. And what's his name? Burnham Square was a horse that a lot of people liked. Really wasn't. Didn't have the right kind of pattern. Didn't like it. We isolated that. So there's a lot to be gained from these shows. And, taking Thorograph and your understanding of the numbers and patterns to a different level. And that's why we're doing this, to help you and help you get a little bit of an edge and maybe get turned on to Thorograph, which is a phenomenal tool. And if you're already using it, get a little better with it. We could always all get better. So let's just keep that in mind. Small field. This is not going to take long. We'll get right into it. Baza. The hot horse, wise guy horse, the horse that a lot of people thought was going to turn the tables on everybody in the Belmont. I thought it was a possibility myself. Didn't happen. But let's look at Baza. Baza at 2 did not set the world on fire, 15.5. But at 3, he certainly got better, as we know. And that's no surprise because we know Sheriffs is a patient, bring him along slow kind of guy. 3 years old. 6 3/4, goes forward to a 4, goes forward to a 0. Now he's telling everybody, hey, look at me, I'm good, fast. 0 3/4, slight regression in the Derby, but that was a huge race, and I'm not even going to count because it was the Derby and the way he ran, that to be any kind of really regression. But what I don't really love is in the Belmont, he went to a 1. He regressed off those 2 zeros. I'm not wild about that. I mean, he's lightly raced. He's got room to get better. It's John Sheriffs and all that. Rah, rah, rah. But, these shows are not necessarily a deep dive handicap. These are, just going off the numbers and patterns. And the numbers and patterns, I got to say, I'm not in love with Baez's pattern. 0, 0 3/4, 1. Slowly going the wrong way. Concern. Switches to Berrios. Pratt gets off. Another concern. Berrios rides him good. And, this guy, he got 5 lengths better when he moved out west. He packed up his game, went out west, and all of a sudden became a much more savvy rider than he was at any other point in his career. But Berrios is damn good. But Pratt's Pratt. And that's that. And he loses Pratt, gets Berrios, and I'm not wild about the numbers. It is what it is. Well, I shouldn't say the numbers. I'm not wild about the pattern. Okay, Sandman. Horse that's probably going to get his share of attention. This horse has always had a lot of hype. Won that perfect setup race at Oaklawn Park. But let's see what the patterns and the numbers tell us. 15.5, 10, 11, 8, 7 at 2. I like that slow, steady progression. Most of you know that already. At 3, got a lot better. And we look for that. We look for the good 2-year-olds to get even better and faster at 3. 4.5, 4.5, 1.5 in that perfect setup Oaklawn race. 5.5 in the Kentucky Derby. 1.5 in the Preakness on the short turnaround. Now he gets a little bit of time off and he comes back in the Jim Dandy. So I got a little concern with him too. I mean, take away the fact that he ran, well into Preakness and did win that perfect setup race, I see something that jumps out at me. He run those paired 4.5s, went forward to the 1.5, regressed to a 5.5, even though it was the Derby. Maybe that's fooling me a little bit, but I don't know. But now he runs a 1.5 in the Preakness. Is he going to regress off it again? I think there's a good chance that he will. So I'm not in love with his pattern. Now, he does get some time off. That was the Derby, so maybe it's a little bit of a deceptive regression because the Derby, those trips are just, wild. But I'm going to go with my gut and stick strictly to the numbers and patterns and say likely to regress a little bit. Moplex, who, again, we're not deep diving the race, but Moplex on paper is the absolute lone speed on cruise control, way out there, and he's not really that slow. 13.5, 9.5, 9.5, 9, 8. Slow, nice progression at 2, just like I like it. At 3, what does he do? 8. He equals his best number, so that's okay. We like him to go past it, but we could live with pairing it. Then he goes forward to a 2, and then he regresses. He wins the Ohio Derby. He wins it at a 3.25. So it's a little bit of a regression, but he won. He won regressing. Only speed 2, 3.25. I like the slight regression off that significant new top. I think he may go forward again, and that makes him as an only speed dangerous. Dangerous enough to beat Sovereignty, who's looks like a monster. We'll see. We'll get to that, but that's that. Of the numbers and patterns thus far, he's the one that I say, Hill Road. This is the horse I bet in the Breeders' Cup at, I don't even remember, 50, 70 to 1, whatever the heck it was. Now all of a sudden he's running these big dirt races, but he ain't winning them. 2 years old, 13, 14.5, jumps forward in that Breeders' Cup, first time on the dirt, if memory serves correct. That's why I like them. 5, bang, dirt horse. Comes back at Tampa, 6, 5, 4.5. Going the right way. Definitely going the right way. I would say definitely going to go forward. Where? 2, 1. Puts him, maybe. It is Chad Brown. And, you credit where credit is due. He deserves more respect than some other people. So horse is going forward. Definitely, the 2 so far are Moplex and Hill Road that I see making forward moves. Now, are they going to be forward enough to beat this Godolphin handful over here, Sovereignty? Let's see. Sovereignty always showed ability. 9.5, 5, 5.75 at 2. At 3, he goes way past his numbers into racehorse territory and goes 1.75, 1.75, 0, 0. This is just a beautiful, beautiful pattern. Pairs the 1s, pairs the 0s. Everything says that. Take out of the equation that if you watched his last race visually, he was kind of in a gallop. But everything about his pattern says he goes forward. Now, if he goes forward off the paired 1s and paired 0s, where's he going to go? He's going to go into the negative numbers. 1 negative, 2 negative. I don't think anybody in this field can go forward that much in order to beat him or get there. But the 2 that I look at, like I say, who are going forward are Hill Road and Moplex, not Sandman and not Baza. And both of those will probably be the two that take the more money in the second slot than the two that I'm talking about. So we'll see how that plays out. But it really is Sovereignty's race to lose. He does look like he's going to run a monster race. If I trained this horse, and again, no questioning Bill Mott, and I'm certainly not a trainer, but I wouldn't even run him right now. I would train this horse and have him like a bear and just run him back into Travis. What do I don't need to win the Jim Dandy, and let him run that 1, 2, 3 negative number into Travis and win that like a monster. Because if he does that here, then you got to maybe worry about the regression or not being able to pair that up into Travis. So can I outsmart and outthink Bill Mott when it comes to racehorses? Probably not. But I still go with my opinion over anybody else's. So if I owned and/or trained Sovereignty, that's what I would do. But I don't own and/or train Sovereignty, so it really doesn't matter what I would do. But that's kind of how I see the Jim Dandy. You've got a monster who looks like he's really sitting on his best race ever, peak race. Let's see if I'm right about that. And you got two that I can't say under the radar, but two a little less respected than some of the others that I think are going forward. And, maybe one of them can give him a tussle or upset him if he doesn't, go forward or stubs a toe or something goes wrong or it just ain't his day. So that's how I see the Jim Dandy by the Thorograph Numbers and Patterns. In the comments, let me know what you think. If you think Sovereignty is vulnerable or if you think that he's a lead pipe cinch. And if you do think he's vulnerable, let me know if you think that, the two that I mentioned are the ones and you agree with my interpretation of the patterns and the numbers. And if not, let us know what you think. And thanks for watching. Appreciate you all. Hope you're getting a lot out of these videos. Hope you enjoy these videos. If you got any race that you have in mind for next week that I might not be considering, put that in the comments too. Maybe we'll make that the Past the Wire Thorograph race of the week for next week, and you can get the Thorograph sheets for free at pastthewire.com, which is pretty cool. So with that, everybody have a lovely weekend. Make some money, do some damage, and if you're not watching these videos, you gotta be crazy. Ciao, ciao. You ain't smooth, you ain't never gonna be a smooth operator.
Here comes journalism, here comes Sovereignty, and they square off, heading to the final front. Sovereignty wins the Derby!
You're watching Past the Wire TV. Hit that like button and subscribe to Past the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.
Nobody does it better.